Hi everyone, welcome to Here We Are, Brattleboro's community talk show. I'm Wendy O'Connell, and our guest from the community today is Tara Cheney. Tara is creating a new model for a community center here in downtown Brattleboro. It's quite remarkable. Located in the majestic Old Shriners building on Green Street, the Heart Rose Club offers a wide variety of wellness services and is also a space for community events and activities, all aiming to bring people together in one way or another. She's won a lot of awards as a business leader and as a Brattleboro Remarkable Woman, given by the Brattleboro Reformer. Tara is also co-owner of Vermont Roadworks with her husband, Fred Cheney. Today, Tara's going to talk to us about all this stuff. We're going to figure out how she does it all. And she's going to talk about how her entrepreneurial skills and spirit help manifest her dreams. Hi, Tara.
Hi. Thanks for having me.
Well, it's great to have you on the show. And I think that many of us in the community have looked up at the old Shriners building and have heard that something is going on, something happening.
Something is going on.
And it's only been a little over a year, right, that
That's
you've
correct.
been there.
Yes.
As Heart Rose Club. And what's the origin of the name Heart Rose Club?
A while ago, I originally started as Clarity Massage, but was doing other things, and then became Heart Rose Holistic Health, and that was with kind of a co-op of women. And one of them was Mexican, Aida Avery, and she was thinking Rosa Corazon, and that's the Heart Rose. And also a long time ago at UMass, when I was doing the University Without Walls, I was doing my thesis, and I did this creative visualization, and was having a woman open her heart chakra, and I talked to her about envisioning a rose blooming in her chest.
Nice.
And so it's really kind of the embodiment of love and healing for me.
And now you've got a center that can hold all that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That's lovely.
Thank you.
Yeah. So you grew up in Guilford on a dairy farm, multi-generational dairy farm.
Yes, 100 years this year.
Really?
Yes. It's been in our family.
So you are no stranger to hard work.
That's correct.
And is your family still running it?
Yes. Yep. It's the Cutting family farm. My father, Phil Cutting, he is still sustaining the farm. We make maple syrup every year. He has timber. He raises beef cows, and we're also certified organic. But it is the hardest way of life. Yeah. And he also had to do a cattle buyout twice, and my husband Fred also had to do a cattle buyout. So I think I don't remember the number, but at one point everybody was a farmer in Guilford, and now I think there's 4 farms remaining. It's really sad.
And I mentioned this on a show that I just did recently, is the number of younger people who are coming back to farms or starting their own.
That would be great.
Yeah, of which there are few, I think, in your neighborhood.
I think people want to live off the land. You know, they want to get out of the city and go back to basics, and it's good for your heart. It's good for your soul.
You went through public schools in Brattleboro. You went to BUHS. You did some sports in BUHS.
Yeah, we were the 1991 softball champs.
Wow. What'd you play? What position?
I was pitcher and second base. And I started in age 5 playing baseball. I played Babe Ruth. I had my zygomatic bone broke in baseball. And then I went on to play women's softball, and we went to Oregon for the nationals championships, and I think that was in 1992. And at that time, I was second base, my mom was the pitcher, and my grandfather, Bernie LaRocque, was the coach. And it was a great memory.
After you went through BUHS and all of that, you got interested in women's studies and women's justice.
Yep.
Yeah. Where did that come from for you?
Let's see. It's always been ingrained in me to help others. I'm an empath, and it's hard for me to see injustices and turn away. And in the past, it's kind of gotten me in trouble because I've been really vocal about things like that. And as I've gotten older and wiser, I know when to speak and when to observe and think a little bit more before jumping in. like a situation where I was at a Grateful Dead concert and a man was abusing a woman in the woods, and I instinctively ran and tried to get her to come with me, and nobody knew where I was. Like I've had a few situations like that.
Right.
So now I think a little bit more before acting.
Yeah.
But I still want to help.
And you still have that impetus.
Absolutely.
Yes. Well, it's a wonderful thing that you're doing, is channeling it in to a structured kind of wellness situation where you can give and receive and have a place where people can come, and also where you can put your energy too.
Right.
Yeah, I'm sure it served you really well.
Yeah.
And you got a nursing degree at some point and studied a lot of different modalities.
We have a very non-traditional education. Like in high school, it was a very hard time in my life. I had a lot of childhood trauma. And I kind of made it in high school. And I did really well at some things. I did really well at art, and I did really well at English and sports. I have a lot of regrets, but I made it. And I ended up getting my bachelor's at UMass in natural health and holistic psychotherapy with a minor in women's studies, and then got my nursing degree after that. I had 2 small children while going to school. I actually ended up getting a full ride to Smith College as an ADA Comstock scholar, 4 years. And my children were 3 and 4, and I would have had to commute. And I'm a very competitive person, and I had to turn it down because I knew that I couldn't do it.
Right. Yeah, that would be very unwieldy.
Yeah, and then that was in English literature. So I have a lot of different passions.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
You do. It sounds that you're using a lot of them at the same time.
Yeah, the culmination. It's all come full circle.
Yeah. So we're probably making a little bit of a jump here, but you met your husband, who also grew up on a dairy farm, I believe, right?
Yes, he was a farmer for many years, 30 years of his life. And then he went into paving. When the farming he couldn't do it anymore.
And then you realized that you might as well start your own company, right?
Yeah, I mean, the truth is that he was working 17-hour days, sleeping under his desk. Like, he just was crazy hours that he was putting in. And I said, like, if you're going to do this, then we might as well do it together, and I'll help you. At that point, I was a nurse and a program manager and an art director at the Gathering Place, and really knew nothing about asphalt paving. And that was quite a reality check for me, being a woman in a man's world.
Yes.
Because construction is still a man's world. It's been 10 years, and we were voted best paving company last year and this year again. And we also, in 2022, were voted the Small Business Association Woman-Owned Business of the Year in Vermont.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Had you had any business experience before that?
Well, I started having my own massage practice in 2002.
Yeah.
So, but...
That's a little bit different.
Yeah, it's absolutely different.
Yeah.
No, but I've always been a leader.
Yeah.
You know, I was the president of my eighth grade class. I was always on sports teams. I was always the only girl on the team, and I've just always had a personality where I could communicate well with people and bring people together.
Did you have to learn, like, how to do books and, you know? Yes, you did, obviously.
Yeah, and it's the farthest thing from what I love to do in life is books.
Yeah.
Book work is it's a challenge for me. I just want to say that I was reminded that my grandmother, Bernice LaRock, she and my grandfather owned LaRock Construction, and I spent a lot of time with her, and she was really a pioneer for being a woman in the construction business. And I would work with her in the office, and every Friday I would bring the guys their paychecks and a piece of pie. So she was definitely a mentor of mine.
Yes.
And I think about her a lot, and what she did, and she was always known as she was always known as a hard woman when she, wanted to collect money. But honestly, you have to be. I'm a really nice person, but I've had to, I don't know, be a person that I'm not used to being.
Yes, yeah.
And that in business, there's a lot of people that want something for nothing and that will take advantage of people that won't pay. And we work really, really hard.
Yeah.
And we always go above and beyond, and we always give people a really good deal. So when people don't want to pay us, it's hard. And that's where the justice piece comes in, where I'm the bad cop, Fred's the good cop. And as a woman in construction, I'm not respected. I'm not respected by a lot of people.
Yeah.
But I feel like at this point, I've earned that respect.
I was going to say, I think that you've earned a lot in the course of what you've had to do in order to really be part of the business and to represent the business too.
Right.
You mentioned the LaRock Construction Company, and my daughter was real good friends with Kitsy. And Kitsy, as I understand, went into the business herself.
Yep.
Is she still involved?
She is. Yes.
That's so great.
Yep.
She's a great girl.
Yeah.
This is part of what this show is all about.
Right.
Is the fact that we are.
There's a lot of connections.
We're overlapping circles.
Absolutely.
In almost everything.
Right.
It's and a lot of it is kids that bring you together.
Right.
But many other things too. Getting your driveway paved, for
Right.
instance.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
And also, one other thing about Vermont Roadworks, which is an LLC that you guys created, you went to the National Paving Expo.
Yes.
And was a guest speaker there.
I was. I spoke about how women can thrive in a male-dominated industry. And when I say thrive, I don't mean how you can get rich. I mean how you can survive.
Yeah.
Because women do so much in general. We're the givers, we're the nurturers. We're going home and we're making dinner and cleaning the toilet after working all day. And just how to balance life and how to stay strong. Thriving is basically like getting enough sleep and standing up and sticking up for yourself and being kind.
What was the response to your speech?
It was good, but I also, another piece that I had was about contracts, because that's another thing that we had to learn the hard way, is, make sure there's a contract with every single job. Because in the beginning, and I mean, ideally, I would love to be able to shake someone's hand and say, okay, great. But when you're not paid $10,000 because you did a handshake, then you learn fast.
That's great. So again, standing your ground in the midst of all of that.
Right.
Yeah, making sure that the dotted lines are
exactly.
signed.
Exactly. And it protects us and it protects them as well.
One more thing that you do is you're on the Guilford Selectboard.
That's correct.
And you were also on the Guilford School Select Board, or school
I was on
board.
the school board
Yep.
quite a few years ago, yes.
Yes. And you've been on the Select Board for how long?
2 years coming up.
Yep. So you've seen a lot of things coming and going these last couple of years.
Yeah. This last couple of years in Guilford have not been without events.
Yes, yeah. I would imagine you're bringing a lot of your skills to that as well.
Yeah, I feel like I'm kind of the middle ground, or I have been on the Select Board. I have a lot of history. I have a lot of heritage in the town. My grandpa Harvey, he was the road commissioner for 17 years, and I think he was on the Select Board for 10 years. My Aunt Sally was the town clerk for numerous years. So that's really kind of why I wanted to get involved. I felt like it was my time to play a part and to give. Truthfully, it's been very challenging. Sometimes I will leave a meeting and feel this overwhelming feeling of accomplishment and like, it just feels really good to be involved. And other times it's been hard. It's been really hard just not to take things personally. I'm not a liar. I'm not a liar. You're gonna get. I don't sugarcoat much. But to be called a liar, I don't live my life that way, and I don't take it very well. Without it going to my heart.
Yes, right.
at the same time, I need to be tough and understand that not everyone's ever going to be happy in any position like that. I'm happy that I'm doing it, and I'm happy that I've done it. And I'm happy to be there, and I'm happy to have made some changes and to have brought different issues to the board.
Yes.
So I don't regret it.
No, that's good. And it's your hometown.
Yeah.
Let's talk about, how did you think of taking on the Shriners building? It's a huge building in town.
It wasn't something I thought about. Like, I always wanted to have a holistic health center. I always wanted to have a spa. I always wanted to do things with water. I knew when I was 12 that I was going to be a massage therapist. I knew I'm a healer. I've known that. And randomly, I went online and looked up commercial business properties, and there it was. And that was on, I think, January 7th, 2022, and then we bought it in March.
Wow. Wow. And it's a big building. What's the square footage?
15,800.
Oh, wow.
It's a huge building.
It is. It
Yeah.
is. And you are, we're moving right into Heart Rose now. If you could explain a little bit, Tara, I know that that you had a lot of vision. Even start with your vision for it.
Well, I had a lot of visions. I wanted to do a lot of things. And right now I'm in a restructuring phase because I've learned what works and what doesn't work, and I've also learned that I'm only one person, and I do a lot of things. Like, I love to cook. I've been in the food service industry for years. I always wanted a bed and breakfast. I love creating beautiful spaces for people, but I'm also a healer and a massage therapist and a holistic psychotherapist, and I really, really want to get back to that. That's my passion. That's where I'm headed. And I love to entertain. I love throwing big parties. I always have. I'm the person that brings the whole family together. I'm the person that brings all my friends together. So I wanted to do it all, but I can't do it all. I had a wonderful other mentor at the gathering place, Mary Fredette, and I wanted to make cupcakes with everybody. And she's like, Tara, you can't make the cupcakes. It costs more for you to make cupcakes with everybody when we can buy them. And I said, but Mary, I'm making them with love. And she's like, you can't make the cupcakes. You can't do everything. So I think about that a lot. I can't make the cupcakes. And even Fred says it to me now, Tara, you can't make the cupcakes. Because I want to do so much, but I have to be realistic, and I have to be savvy. We're focusing right now on events and holistic health. So being able to have people come in for massages. We have a sauna. We have a PMFR machine. We have all sorts of healing modalities within massage and body work, energy work. We do yoga. We're getting more classes. We're going to be getting a goddess yoga class, so we're going to be starting Pilates this week.
Great.
We do a group shake. We do kirtan. We're starting a full moons women's circle. So I'm really focusing on the spiritual healing component because that's my destiny, and I've been kind of like pushing it down for a long time, doing for others, doing other things, and it's time for me to do what I'm meant to do. I'm open to collaborating with people. And I really believe that there's enough to go around for everyone. Like, none of what I do, even in the asphalt paving industry, is competitive because I believe that there's enough. And so anyone that comes to the Heart Rose and wants to give a class but also has their own business, I'm so happy to promote them as well. And that's kind of my entire vision for Heart Rose is to be collaborative and to work with people in our community and to foster relationships and just have like the interchange in a space for people to come and feel togetherness, because I think downtown Brattleboro is really going through some hardships right now. And up on the hill at the Heart Rose, like everything we do there has an intention, and everything behind what we do is love. So I think that it just means a lot to be part of this change making that I feel is going on.
Yeah, and you're holding that space, and what a wonderful space to hold, not only with all the things you're doing and your intentions, but the view is pretty fabulous.
It's amazing.
It's an incredible
It is amazing.
view.
The building itself is amazing.
Yes.
So it was owned originally by the Oddfellows, built by the Oddfellows in 1910, finished in 1915. And the Oddfellows were all dowsers. So,
Really?
yes, I had someone come in and he dowsed the entire building. That's a huge building. And at the end, like after dowsers come in, they make corrections. It's all about energy and energy lines and grids and funky stuff. But he came in, and normally he would have to make an adjustment. He'd have to like put an iron post outside on the corner or something. He didn't have to make one adjustment.
Wow.
Because they did everything with intention when they built the building. Most people that come in, myself included, they feel this sense of benevolence in the building.
Yeah.
And the building was, it was empty. Steve Heim had it for 2 years, but prior to that it was empty for 12 years, which is so sad. So I think that the building itself is just really happy to have people, to have music, to have laughter.
Yeah, to have some
healing.
life. And are you kind of full now? Have you filled the space?
No,
You
there's
still
a
got
lot.
more?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, I do still have more space and more times for people to do things, for sure. We're doing events too, so that's the other piece is I'm
Right.
really focusing on events. So when you go online, heartrose.com, there's an event tab if you want to have an event, like any event. And I will get back to you and you will leave your name and how many people and what you want. Do you want food? Do you want bar service? All of that. But we're also going to make a new tab, and we're doing that this week. Do you want to offer something? Do you want to teach a class? Do you want to offer a retreat? Because there's definitely space for that. You know, there's a lot of time in a week, and I'm definitely open to more people joining.
So you've got events that you put on, but you're also offering the space for people who want to come in and do their own events.
Yes.
In those instances, there would be possibly food available or the bar available.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's good to know.
Yep.
Because of course the Oddfellows and the Shriners had a bar, right?
Yep.
All those clubs
They had
did.
all sorts of events. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Now, there wasn't a bowling alley in the basement.
Yes, there was.
Was there?
Yes, there was.
That was a rumor that.
Yeah, and we pulled up the floor to see, and it's really not salvageable.
Oh, too bad. Yeah.
But there was definitely a bowling alley down
was.
there. Yeah.
Oh, that's so
And
amazing.
there was hooks everywhere. Like every room and every closet had hooks. So I think that they just came in and like got into their robes. I don't know.
We don't
We
really
don't know. We
you
don't really know.
Have you checked with the Historical Society?
Yes, Brittany, my marketing manager, just visited the Historical
good.
Society last week, and we haven't really got together to have a chat about what she learned.
That would be really fun.
Yeah,
Now, did they also leave photographs there of?
there's some stuff before when the Shriners Holding Company sold it. Which was prior to the 12 years, so 14 years ago, they had an auction, which I had no idea about. So a lot of stuff went in the auction. But I do have some memorabilia.
We have such a great Historical Society, and they just have so many wonderful photographs.
One thing that I have is these amazing hand-painted glass slides.
Yeah.
And you stack them, and then it goes through a projector, and they're 3D.
Oh, wow.
And they were done in the early 1900s.
Oh, that's really
And
interesting.
they're wild. Yeah, and
Are
they have
they?
all these symbols.
So were they like a benevolent order like the Elks or one of those organizations?
The Oddfellows was started by, I think immigrants who were fighting in the workplace for rights.
Almost
So
like a
they were the
union.
underdogs.
Aha, interesting.
Yeah.
And it was national, I believe.
They started in England, yeah. In
Good
the
for you.
1700s.
Good for you.
Yes.
You got some history
They might
there.
have got kicked out of England, even.
That's probably very possible. Another thing that you're doing is you are collaborating and you have sponsors as well.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, so I do a lot of things with people. I'm part of the Downtown Brattleboro Alliance, part of the Chamber, Gallery Walk. I've done a lot of events with the Rotary, the United Way.
Wow.
A lot of those groups come and have their annual meetings or their holiday parties.
Oh, that's very great.
Yeah.
And as you told me right before we went on the air, that this year you're going to be hosting
The Remarkable Woman Leader Awards.
Nice.
Which I was humble and lucky enough to have won the business leader category in 2021. And for the last 2 years, I've been the keynote speaker. So I was asked this year to actually host it at the Heart Rose and be the keynote speaker. This is in collaboration with a reformer. And I'm really excited to do this because it means a lot to me. I like honoring women locally. That's my passion.
One other idea I think that you were talking about was having like a WeWork space in there.
Yes, that's kind of a new thing. I had thought about it, and it makes sense to. So because we were doing lunch, we're not really doing that now. Lunch is just a lot of work, a lot of money, and it's a challenge because there's still a huge challenge in getting people to work. I don't know if you come across that with interviewing people, but I talk to a lot of people that cannot find people to work.
Yeah.
And that is in every industry across the board, nationally and in Vermont. So we're going to take a little hiatus from the lunch idea. So now we have this wonderful space that's not being utilized during the day. So I would love to have people come in and share office space. You know, have an open space, have a private space, and I would love to, offer coffee and soups and muffins for the people that are working there, so they don't have to leave and get lunch.
Yeah.
And that just seems like bringing more people
Yes.
and having more collaboration and having more of a community space.
Yeah, and that's sort of, what I realized after talking with you the other day is that you really are creating a new model for this, to be in this community and for people to come to, which is really brave. Got to say, working with that many thousands of feet.
Yes.
But also, to have that in our community, I think we have that in various places. But again, there is something about that building.
Yes.
That's really quite amazing.
It's magical.
Yeah.
It really is.
There was another great thing you were talking about doing is dinner dance.
We do dinner dances. Dinner
Yes.
dances are big. I remember my grandparents, Harvey and Obie Cutting. They always would go to the lodge in Keene. Oh, I'm blanking on what it was. He wasn't a Shriner. He was a moose lodge.
Moose, yep.
Yeah. So every Friday night they would get dressed up, and I'd watch him shave, and they'd be going dancing at the Moose Club. So they'd go to a dinner and a dance, and I just really want to bring back the dinner and dance. It seems very traditional to me.
Yeah.
And it's a fond memory.
And nobody's doing it. That's something that I don't think anybody is doing in town.
Right.
It might be something the American Legion does,
Yes.
or the Moose do here in town. I don't know.
The Legion does sometimes.
Do they?
Yeah.
But
I'd definitely like to have a monthly dinner dance.
that's a wonderful idea. Yeah, and then
I do all the cooking, and then I bartend, and I've got my family involved. And, yeah.
It's great, Tara.
Yeah,
it's
thank
really,
you.
Well, it's really exciting, and also, it's really, I can see, it feels like, you could really spread yourself thin real easily. So where do you go to get replenished?
Boy. Lately I've been feeling extremely burnt out, I'll be
Yeah?
But I have a routine where I take a hot tub in the morning and then do a cold plunge and then an outdoor shower and make sure my feet are barefoot on the ground so I get some grounding.
Yeah.
I'm not exercising as much as I want to, but I'm hoping that with the change, I'm making some changes and recent changes at work where I can have more of a schedule that creates time for me, because I know that I need balance, and I suffer from chronic Lyme disease, and I've had 5 tick-borne diseases. So when I get overtired, I have a systemic inflammation response. And so anything inflamed is 10 times worse for me.
Yeah.
So I know I need to take care of myself, and I'm making some choices that are actually pretty hard because I want to be good at everything, and I understand that failing is just another opportunity. I know that now. I know that there's strength and vulnerability, and that I need to put myself first because I put a lot of people first for many years.
Right. Yes, and your body will tell you.
Right? Absolutely.
Well, this is great, Tara.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. You know, you've given us a wonderful, more than a snapshot. You've given us a nice panorama of what's happening at Heart Rose Club, and what you're bringing to it, and what you're bringing to the community. So it's really. It's great for us to hear about. And we'll have to stop in because it's so fabulous.
You have to see it. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Thanks for being on.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Thanks for asking me. I appreciate it.
Thanks to all of you for being with us. This is a great conversation with Tara Cheney, and we know so much more now about Heart Rose Club and the beautiful space that she's filling with all kinds of great things. So stay tuned. She has a website. We will have the information at the end of the show in the credits, so you can get in touch that way. And as she said, you know, there are different tabs to look for the different things that are going on, of which there are a lot, and I don't think that's going to stop. I think she's going to continue to have more things available for the community. So thanks for being with us, and we'll see you next time.